G'day, it's Scott here. SurfacePro Countertop Epoxy is a do-it-yourself product. You can resurface your own kitchen countertop and make it look just like this, and it's so easy to do. Coffee tables, bathroom vanities, kitchen countertops and benchtops. You can have your dream kitchen in a luxurious white marble look or a high-end black granite or whatever color you want. You can have it and you're not paying thousands of dollars for real stone marble. Just go over your existing kitchen surface with SurfacePro Countertop Epoxy. So this is just a piece of MDF that I prepared to look like the surface of your kitchen. I rounded the edges and I primed it, and I sprayed a bit of black paint just to cover the edges. The base epoxy colour is our pearlescent paste in black pearl. I really love the black pearl as a black base colour because it has this awesome two-tone effect or appearance or quality about it. It's really beautiful. I use a 4mm plastic trowel and I spread the epoxy to give it an even coverage and taking it right up to the edge. Now, to create the black base effect that I want, I need to use a paintbrush to chop it in. Now this does three things. Firstly, it removes the shadow lines which the notch trowel leaves behind. Secondly, it mixes the epoxy again, making sure there are no unmixed parts and no sticky spots. And thirdly, chopping in with a brush randomly creates the unique effect that I want, especially when you're using black pearl as a base. It is absolutely beautiful. So you will notice that I've poured the cup of Snow White out onto my workbench. Now I've done this so that I can draw it up again. I've poured it out so that I can use my stir stick and draw it up and then drag it across the surface. Watch this. It's the honeypot technique and it creates an amazing marble effect. Now the black base is set up and the Snow White is set up also, and you just skip it across the surface. You pick it up on a stir stick and you drag it across. It sort of grabs and lets go, then grabs again and lets go. This honeypot technique, it sort of creates a suspended bubble as you move across the surface, and then it sort of pops and drops down, creating an awesome white marbling effect. Now see how the Snow White is instantly selling up. It's just beautiful. I'm just taking my time, allowing the epoxy to do its thing. It's melding and moving, and I'm just checking it out to see exactly what I have. And then I'll give it a torch for the first time. That's if I can get the torch to work. Okay, so get this torch going. Just having a bit of a malfunction here. Okay, we're on with the torch. It's flaming out. I've never seen that. Okay, we're on. Okay, now torching this, and the bubbles are popping beautifully, and it's creating a very, very nice effect here with the white veins on the black. Okay, that's all I wanted to do. Now I'm going to hit it with some isopropyl alcohol. Find some. Where is it? There. Okay, so I've got some isopropyl alcohol, and I'm just going to cover the board with isopropyl alcohol. This is 99% isopropyl alcohol. And just have that make it move a little bit and meld. And then we're going to see what we got. Okay. I'll just give that a little bit of a tilt and see if we can just have that move a little bit. It is slightly moving. That's good. Yeah, that's good. That's making it look much more natural. Okay, and just quickly this side. Okay. Wait, I don't want to lose my little stands. That's good. Okay. Alrighty. So. Now what we made up, I've got two little containers here with epoxy and our not diamond dust, our sun catcher. This is our sun catcher metallic powder. Oh, it's beautiful. Very goldy, reflective gold. And what I have here is not the ultramarine. It is the sapphire blue, thanks. The sapphire sparkle. This one's sapphire sparkle. And I wanted to do this to add a little bit of bling to this. And I'm going to do that. I'm going to just drizzle it over across the board. Pick that piece up there again, and there, and that's beautiful. I'm just going to follow the natural lines that I created previously, and down here a little bit, along here. Yeah. That's very pretty, because what we did was, with the sapphire sparkle, we actually also add a little bit of black gloss spray paint, just to darken it up a bit That looks awesome. I'm going to bring it back this way. Actually, what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to put a little bit like that in these black areas. Can you get that? How spreading it out just with this little stir stick that I can actually spread it out a little bit, and it will then. So I am filling in a little bit of the black, but I'll hit it with the torch again. Now I think that's nice. Now for the, not the diamond dust, for the sun catcher. Oh dear, oh dear. For the sun catcher, I'm just going to run it alongside the blue there. Yeah. And then I'll meld the two together with the heat gun and the torch. more than 5 hours later, and the piece is fully dry now, and I'm going to be applying our flood coat. Now, I've already poured in the amount that I need, and I'm applying this at a rate of 1 litre per square metre. So for me here, it's only about 300 mils, a little bit less than 300 mils. So I'm going to use my drill. This is the type of drill we like to use, or stirrer, which you can get from any of the major hardware stores here. And what we like about it is it's not big and chunky, and it doesn't really throw the epoxy around in the container. It sort of like acts as a propeller at the bottom, and it really just spins it all without drawing the air in. And I want to keep as much air out as possible, because of course any air that you put in, you've got to get out again. So we'll give this a stir. Now I stir this for 2 minutes. It only needs about 2 minutes. I'll stir the sides with a stir stick, and then just give it another quick stir. It is going a little bit white. That's okay. You know, I have turned the drill on full, and I probably didn't even need to do that. So now I'm going to just stir the sides, scrape the sides with a stir stick. Thoroughly scrape them just to remove any of the epoxy that hasn't been mixed, that's clinging to the sides and the bottom as well. And then another quick stir. And there you have it. So now, straight onto the board. And I'm going to get every last bit out. Now again, as I said previously, you have an option here. You can either use a paintbrush to chop this in. You know, after you've spread it out, you can chop it in with a paintbrush, and that removes the lines that the trowel is going to leave behind. Or you can use your hands and a glove. That's what I like to do on these small boards, but I do move it with a 4mm plastic trowel. It's only a little one, but it works well for me. Now I'm bringing it right to the sides. I'm not bringing it over as yet, at least if I can help it. And there we go, right to the edge. Yeah. I like to keep on hand a skewer, because I've found, and you'll find from time to time, a hair or a bit of dust or something, some sort of foreign matter will drop into your epoxy, and you'll want to get it out, and these are fantastic. Now, it's just disappeared on me, so I can't see it. I saw it, and now I lost it. It'll turn up again in a moment, I'm sure. So now I'm going to use my hand, my protected hand, to spread it out. Now our epoxy, our countertop epoxy, is mixed at a ratio of 1:1, and we pour it out as a coverage rate of 1 litre per square metre. That's 1 litre per square metre, or about 3 ounces per square foot. And I know a lot of Aussies don't use imperial measurements, we use metric. But years ago we did use imperial. And I was brought up in school, I went halfway through my schooling learning imperial. Ounces, pounds, I learnt about feet and inches, and all the fractions of an inch I learnt in my early years of schooling. And then when I went to high school, the whole country changed over to metric. So I got half of my schooling learning imperial and half of my school learning the metric system. So I've had the best of both worlds. I know them pretty well both. I know metric very well. Metric's very, very easy. So I know them both. And I'll often speak we often speak about feet. Someone's 6 foot high. Everybody tends to do that. But I speak often in inches, feet and inches. A lot of obviously younger people don't. They're in centimetres or millimetres, and that's of course only natural. So I'm applying this at a rate of 1 litre per square metre, and this was only, as I say, around about 300 mils or millilitres of product. So that's spread out very nicely. Our countertop epoxy is a beautiful product. It really is a beautiful product. You can sitting there. Very little has run off the sides. And that's what we love about it. It's of the viscosity that it doesn't want to run off. And you will find that there are a lot of epoxies out on the marketplace. And the majority of them, well, more than the majority, everyone we ever found was not suitable for application onto kitchen countertops or kitchen benchtops and bathroom vanities and even coffee tables, especially if you want to be applying some really nice marble effect with veins and fracture lines, and then you want a bit of bling in it, you want some glitters and shimmers to really pop. Well, what we would find is, and I'm sure what a lot of other people have found, particularly in Australia, is that within 10 or 15 minutes, it's all blown out and moved out and run over the edge of your board onto your workbench or onto your floor, and you lost all those precious designs that you created. Very frustrating. But with SurfacePro Countertop Epoxy, it doesn't do that, and it holds fast those precious creations that you've made and you put into your epoxy surfaces, and that's what we love about it. It's very, very fast drying. It dries in 5 hours. It's touch dry. That's very quick. I don't know of any countertop epoxy that dries, at least touch dry, within 5 hours. Normally they're about 12 and 14 hours to touch dry. But our countertop epoxy, it's 5 hours to touch dry. And so what that means for those who have businesses, some of our tradies who have started businesses and showing samples to their customers out there who want them to recoat and redo and renovate and restore their existing kitchen bench tops into beautiful Carrara marble, for instance. What it means for them is they can be into a job and have the job done extremely quickly. You could be in within 5 hours later, it's touch dry, you're putting on your flood coat, which I'm doing right now, And then within 5 hours again, it's touch dry. And then you're applying your XFactor scratch resistant top coat. And that gets rolled on, which I'm going to do that in a moment. And that's dry within 1 hour. It's touch dry within 1 hour. Okay, your epoxy needs around about 7 days to fully cure, but your customer knows that, you've informed them of that, they're well aware of that. And but for your tradie, for the business that you have where you are doing this for a business and making a living out of it, you could be in and out within a day and a half, maximum. A day and a half, you could have a number of these jobs on the go, and you could be in and out very, very quickly. And it's, for the customer, it's fantastic because there's so little disruption to their household, being that you're in, you've masked up and you put paper around and plastic around the kitchen cabinets, on the floor, and then you're out, pulling that out, and you're out within, well, you could either do it in a big day or you do it in a day and a half and you're gone. And customers love that. This sample board here I'm doing, this is a sample board for a customer. We're going to be showing a customer this, who wanted something very, very similar to this, and we think they're going to be very, very happy with this, and this is what we're going to show them. So I'm just now well and truly covered that. Now for a quick torch. Just to pop the bubbles. Okay, so I'm just going to let that sit for a bit. There's still bubbles escaping from that, which is fine. It'll all come out. And I'm going to let that sit for a while. I still haven't found that little piece of something or other that was in there. I'm looking for it. It's there somewhere, but I can't see. Oh, there we go. There we go. There we go. I've got it. These little skewers are fantastic. I guess you could use a pin to get out any foreign objects that drop in. Often hair will drop in, and as you're over the top of it looking at it, you need to have something ready to go to pull it out. That's beautiful. So I'm going to let that sit for a moment, probably about 5 minutes-ish. Give it another torch, and then remove the remaining air bubbles. And then I'm leaving it, and then I'll be back in a moment to apply this one. We're applying the Satin XFactor finish, or the XFactor in the Satin Finish. And the reason we wanted to do that was because the Satin Finish, as I've explained in the past, is really special. It's a really unique product. The Satin Finish allows for all the glitters and the shimmers that you've applied into your piece. It allows it to come through while still creating a very, very natural stone look. So it gives you both, whereas we've only found on the market, and we have found a similar product, but you either get a natural look, and that just totally, the natural stone look takes away basically everything, all your glitters, all your diamond dust, all your shimmers, and you know, anything of any that reflects any light at all, it just takes it away and covers it and doesn't reflect it at all. Or you have the high gloss, which does allow all of that through, but it leaves a very, very high gloss finish. And there are little problems with that type of finish, as you've probably all noticed, that there can be a little bit of, well, what we call orange peel effect. Ours has very, very, very minimum orange peel effect in our gloss, but some have quite substantial amounts of orange peel effect. But what we have here, what we're going to be applying is our Satin Finish. Now the satin finish, as I say, looks very, very natural, but it also allows for your glitters and your shimmers to come through. And if you want that, if that's the type of thing that you've really been after but you haven't been able to find it, well, you ought to give XFactor and the satin finish a try, and I think you will be very, very delighted in the results that it gives your countertop or your bench top or your vanity or the coffee table that you're doing at home. So I'm just going to let this sit, and I'll come back in a moment just to torch it again. Okay, XFactor in the satin finish. I've poured it out into my container at a rate of 10 to 1. That's 10 parts of the XFactor and 1 part of the hardener. And I've mixed it in here, just giving it a thorough stir. This is our super special satin finish. And I've decided to use the satin finish because this particular sample board, we have got a lot of glitter happening in this. I've got the Suncatcher Gold running through in the veins, and we also had the Sapphire Sparkle Blue running through in veins as well, and it's just popping out at me. And we wanted to make it look like natural marble and yet not lose those shimmers and glitters. And so I'm using the satin finish today. So I'm going to get it straight out into my paint tray. I've prepared that in there like that. So as you can see, I've prepared my 2 nap rollers. I have already delinted them so that all the fluff and any of the fibers have already been taken out by rubbing it up against sticky tape to take off any of the fibers that want to naturally come out. I don't want them ending up on my surface. So there we go. So I've got it here. I'm going to just charge up my roller now. The coverage of XFactor is 100 mils per square meter. Okay, 100 mils per square meter. This is just probably a quarter of a square meter, if that. Okay, and so you don't need a lot. So I've charged up my roller. Okay, and I'm going to take my time. I am not in any hurry. This will not dry very fast, so you've got time to be able to get this out onto your, whether it's your sample board or whether it's your coffee table or your kitchen countertop or your kitchen bench top, whatever you want to call it, or your bathroom vanity. You got time. Okay, so I'm just making sure that I thoroughly coat the edges. Taking care of the edges. Edges are everything. I'm very happy already. It's just a very small board and it's so quick to cover it. I mean, it's just done so quickly. Job done. Straighten that up. Okay, set that aside. So now really the important part is your dry roller. Now I am going to put a little bit of pressure down. Okay, so I'm going to go from your left to right. I generally like to do that, and I'll put a bit of pressure on this side as well. Okay, so rolling it over, taking off the excess, feathering it, putting pressure on this side as I'm coming along. This side has the pressure. Rolling it along. And I'll just do another one there. And another one here right along, carefully, making sure. Beautiful. Beautiful, very happy with that. Now I'm going to just do my edges again with the dry roller. I don't want any roll marks. I don't want any drips, I should say. Drips running down the edges. And I'm not aware of it. So I'm making sure that I take good care of my edges. Very nice. And that is done. So simple. You can coat your epoxy surfaces with XFactor, and as long as you know the simple steps, you can have it done and it'll give you a highly scratch resistant surface. You can either have it in the gloss, you can have it in the natural matte finish, or you can have it in what I'm doing right now. It's the Satin Finish. And the Satin Finish, as I said, allows those highlights and shimmers and your glitters to come through, yet it looks very much like natural stone. We love it. Okay, so that's it. I'm walking away and letting it dry. It'll be dry in 1 hour. Very quick drying. Okay, so your epoxy underneath, if you've just allowed it to dry, our SurfacePro Countertop Epoxy dries in, will certainly touch dry in 5 hours. So you can go straight over the top then with your XFactor, but you'd want to make sure that you allowed it to cure, the epoxy underneath to cure for 24 hours before you put anything like plates or knives and forks, anything like that on top. Okay, and then you really need 7 days for it to be fully cured, okay, before you put anything heavy on your countertop. Okay, so that's it. We're going to photograph this and show you what this is like when it's dried. But thank you for watching. You can find us at any time on our website at surfacepro.com.au, and there you'll find all of our countertop epoxies, our range of countertop epoxy. You'll find our range of XFactor scratch resistant top coat. We have our range of pearlescent powders and coloured pastes as well. So you can visit us anytime. So once again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.